The new urban freight lab, what the heck is this? Is it a building? Is it a is a powerful piece of real estate? Is there a Bunsen burner involved? No, it is none of those things. It literally is a living laboratory where the specialists with the ability to make decisions gather to solve real world problems. And we're going to start in the urban freight lab with the Seattle Department of Transportation Final 50 Feet project. So what does that entail exactly? Again, it's the place for companies at the center of e-commerce in fast-growing cities to develop and then ground test low-cost solutions to getting goods where they need to be in big cities on demand. If you become a member of the Urban Freight Lab, which we must say is fairly select, what do you get? What does that mean? You get delivery of database knowledge and new insights about the effects of some of the parking strategies and the alley management, the curb management, the street management strategies that the city has considered in that new master freight plan. We're going to be, and there is no strings attached. You know, the political process and all of my betters make the decisions. But what we're able to do at the Urban Freight Lab is get down there at the street level, sort of get a little grubby, and actually help our friends understand what will the consequences be of various decisions that they are considering. So these strategies, if you go online, if you take a look, just Google Seattle Freight Master Plan, you'll see that newly adopted plan has a list of strategies that they may consider actually implementing in the near future. And it is our pleasure to offer them that new knowledge, that data-based evidence that they need to understand, well, should we begin here? Should we begin there? Should we implement it only in this area? Again, what will happen to the business community? What will happen to folks using the street space in other ways when we make these changes? Membership in the Urban Freight Lab is actually limited to about a dozen companies in 4 sectors. Number one, you've heard a lot about retail. This animal, this thing we call omni-channel, is an enormous change, and yet it's how I prefer things to happen. I like to have everything show up like magic where I want it, when I want it, so I can eat it or otherwise watch it or look at it or wear it. It's a fantastic experience. Urban truck logistics, so truck freight moving in cities. The third sector are tech companies actually supporting logistics. And Lauren, I don't know if you guys describe yourself as a tech firm, but yeah, if you don't own equipment. It's a pure play data technology firm, and there's a lot of interesting such firms in that space. And the fourth sector, actually the folks developing and operating large buildings, towers in the city. And that could be a multifamily tower. We like to, we've had Ann Moudon over here doing some spying for us because she lives in one of those. And unlike in New York City where the concierge group has a union, and you know, you only get to be a doorman if your uncle was a doorman and you're invited in. In the city of Seattle, they don't have that kind of lockdown union, but they do have an association. And the concierge at these buildings, who are now, you know, we like to say, gosh, a few years ago, maybe they'd get a delivery of some flowers a couple times a week. They're now actually looking at the lobby, hiding behind their desk, sorting the groceries for 700 units above them in that tower. How's that supposed to work? So, although I must say they're all talking to each other, they're not waiting for formal research to fall on their heads, but we're also talking with them. Whether, again, it's the developer, the person who's actually running that building, the people responsible for that interesting new sorting facility in the common area. So those are the 4 sectors. We have 3 founding members of the Freight Lab in addition to our new strategic partnership with the city itself. And those members are, in the order of equal importance, Costco. So we're really pleased to have, and you're about to hear from Costco, Vice President John Thielen and his colleague Ann Rivers, who are here, who are going to be sharing what's important about belonging to the Urban Freight Lab. We also have Nordstrom, and I saw him a minute ago, but you know, maybe there was an earthquake, a hurricane, or a fire. Things happen. And truthfully, things are happening constantly, but I know he's a very hands-on guy. We have Nordstrom, Director of Transportation and Corporate Logistics, Lauren Vandenberg, and he is near, not far, so you can touch base with him a little bit later. And he actually was the one who first came to the table and said, we're excited about this, we want to do it. And there's a third member that we're really pleased to have, who offices a little bit further away than West Seattle, the UPS VP of Engineering Operations Technology for the entire firm, John Dodaro. He heads up all of UPS's new technologies. That includes robotics, autonomous vehicles, drones, new scanning, point-of-sale technology. So we're really proud of the folks who said, yes, I want to see how this could operate better. I want to work with the city. I want to be intensely involved. We want to be hands-on, and we want to have, again, a chance to not just dream up ideas, not just create models to help us plan them, but test them in the real world and see what happens. On top of that, I will quickly mention we've got some fantastic people. We believe in objectivity, right? And our core value is courage. Our core value is courage. So we invited 4 very dignified folks with expertise in the industry to come in, actually be present in the Urban Freight Lab when we start setting up shop, and tell us what about these innovations is impactful and useful and what is not. Because somehow I don't see that conversation about lessons learned. What was the worst thing you did is often not found on the reader board behind us. And those, again, in no order of importance, are Stacy Hodge. She's a director of the Office of Freight Mobility for the New York City Department of Transportation. Her colleague Denise Peters, who's actually developing the New York City Freight Plan. Dr. Allison Conway, she's an associate professor at City University of New York. She's internationally known for her research in city logistics. And an Amazon gentleman, oh, look, here he is, give us a wave, yes, or stand up. So one of our reviewers, and he's gonna be tough, is Amazon's Senior Product Manager for Last Mile Tech, Mr. Sekarpuchta, who's, again, responsible for building the next generation of their last mile planning systems. And that includes all of Amazon's offering, core retail, fresh, and Prime Now programs. So again, very bright guy who's gonna be very fair, I know, but also help us understand nothing's perfect the first time you pull it out and put the wheels on the road. What do we need to change? What do we need to alter as the Urban Freight Lab proceeds?